Planks are one of those exercises that can work the whole body, and you can do them anywhere and anytime. But it's important to know how to do them correctly. Stick around to get my tips on how to enhance your plank in order to get the best results. Hi, my name's Gretchen, your virtual Pilates instructor as well as founder of Balance to the Core. I'm here every week with a new video, so please hit that subscribe button as well as the bell next to it to get notified whenever I have a new video. Tip number 1, your setup. First, get your wrists right underneath your armpits. Get your elbows to face the back of the room. Feel what that does. It clicks the shoulders into place. All 10 fingers are facing forward. And then you have a soft bend in those elbows so you can feel yourself in your arm muscles. Your pelvis is neutral, so get your knees right underneath your hip bones and find a nice flat back. Your tailbone is reaching to the back of the room. Now, without changing anything, so you want equal weight on all 4 points. This is how I get into position. I'm going to straighten one leg without shifting my weight. And then I'm going to bring my other leg and not shift my weight. I still have equal weight on all 4 points. And then I'm going to walk my legs in, squeeze my heels all the way up to my inner thighs together. And there I have my setup. Tip number 2, your breath. Breath helps you release stress. It helps you energize the body. It helps you get more in tune with your muscles. So we want to make sure that you never hold your breath. So in order to really breathe properly, you want to make sure that you're exhaling all of your air out before you inhale. You also want to make sure that you keep engaging your abdominals even when you're breathing. So be careful that when you're inhaling, you're not releasing those abs. If you're unsure of breathing, I do have a video on how to properly breathe in Pilates, and if you just check that little eye there, you can see that video. If you hold your breath, you're going to create stress and strain in the body. There's this fine balance between effort and ease. If you give yourself too much effort, you're going to lose the alignment in your body. So let's say holding a plank is difficult for you, go to your knees. It makes more sense to modify for your body because you want to get the benefits of each of the exercises. And if you're pushing through an exercise and it's too much of a struggle, you're going to start to lose your alignment. You're going to start to squeeze unnecessary muscles, so you're going to overuse muscles. So when you can find this space where it's effort and ease in balance with one another, you're going to feel the effort, but you're also going to feel the flow of it. Okay, so if you breathe properly, you're going to feel that flow. You're going to feel that energy in the body, and you're going to feel the work in a very, I don't want to say effortless, but it almost feels that way because you feel almost like superhero-ish. The energy in the body makes you stronger. So if you can get in tune with your breath properly, you can actually develop more strength in your body too. Tip number 3, your belly. In this position, we're working against gravity, so it's easy to let the ribs pop, the belly go, and kind of hold up with your extremities. But you want to make sure that your core is working the whole time. So when you're up here, I want you to feel as if you're pulling your belly, pull it up into your spine. Tighten up the whole waistline, pull it up into the spine, and then give it a little lift up to the chest. As you do that, you'll feel your ribs hug into your spine as well. So you have a pull in and you have a lift up. So feel that engagement the entire time. Tip number 4, your chest. You want to make sure your chest doesn't collapse into the floor where you sink your shoulders and then you've lost all stability and foundation in your body. So what you want to do is your hands and wrists are right underneath your armpits. You have your elbow tips facing the back of the room with a slight bend in your elbows. You're going to keep that the entire time. Never let it go, okay? But what I want you to think about is creating more distance between the floor and your chest. So what does that mean? I want you to fill space between the floor and your chest. Fill it and notice what happens. Your shoulder blades will widen along your back, but you haven't locked up the elbows to do that. It's coming from sort of this space with your chest and upper back. So you're going to feel your shoulders widen, which is going to give you more strength so that you don't rely just on your arms and your wrists. You're going to use your back muscles, which is the foundation of your arms. Tip number 5, your legs. What's really interesting in the plank is your legs won't necessarily work properly unless you put your mental power there, especially the backs of the legs. Most of the times our hamstrings don't fire up unless we really mentally think about it. So in this position, in your plank position, squeeze your thighs together and really squeeze from the heel all the way up to the inner thigh. And I want you to really focus on the area of your upper back inner thigh. Squeeze that together. Notice what it does. You're going to feel sort of your lower seat muscles engage as well as your hamstrings. And without moving a bone, I want you to try to engage your hamstrings more and sort of lift them up to the ceiling. What does that do? It's going to allow you to really get into your supporting leg muscles. The inner thighs, the back of the leg, the seat, all of that's going to be working. Your quads will automatically work because they automatically fire in our bodies. But feel what that really feels like. Squeezing the hamstrings, lifting them up, squeezing the upper back inner thighs, squeezing all the way down through the heel. Tip number 6, opposition. Opposition is one of my favorite things in Pilates because when you're working, there's always opposing muscles. So you're always working a concentric motion, you're always working eccentric motion. That means you're always flexing, you're always lengthening, and there's always sort of the muscle that you're working, you're also working your opposing muscle. Well, the same idea here is in this pose, the static pose that we're holding. It's a lot of work because we are mentally connecting to what we're doing. So if you were to look at me, it looks like, all right, I'm just holding a pose. Meanwhile, what's going on is a lot of thought, a lot of deliberate holding, and a deliberate energy going on in the body. So this idea of opposition. So you want to feel as if the crown of your head is reaching one way and your tailbone is reaching the other way. So you're getting this length. And then the center part is the abdominals that I talked about, which are pulling in and up. So find your plank. Now what I want you to do is really reach out of the crown of your head and then feel your tailbone reaching to the opposite side of the room. And then keep your heels, don't let them push through. All right, keep them lifted up. You can't see me with my pants, I'm sorry. But you want to get the heel so it's right above the ball of your foot. So you're lifting that to keep the energy flowing. If I push through, it sort of overworks my ankle joint, and I want to keep that ankle neutral if I can, okay? So now squeeze, tailbone reaches, head reaches, get that energy. Energy. I love the idea of energy. It's almost the same as opposition, but a little bit more to it. I want you to think about when you're doing your plank like you're a superhero. What does a superhero feel like? What can you imagine they feel like? They're pretty powerful. They have a lot of energy. They have a lot of energy swimming inside them to give them the strength that they need. So when you're holding this pose, this can be a super power pose if you just go there, work deep within you, and energize the body like there's electricity going through your body. Hold that pose. Try not to think of the agony part, but think about the power part. Ease into it. Let your mind sort of go with it and see how powerful you can be just by connecting your mind with what you're doing. Okay, so let's try that. For me, what I sort of feel like is almost like I'm elevating my body off my wrists. It puts a lot of pressure off my wrists because my whole body's engaged. So let's go through all those principles, right? So we got our setup, we have our breath, we have our belly pulling in and up, get more space between the chest and the floor. We are squeezing from the heel all the way up to the inner thigh. We're pulling our hamstrings up to the ceiling. We've got our opposing energy. So my tailbone is shifting back, my head is shifting forward. I've got my heels right over the balls of my feet, and they're squeezing together with all their might. And then I've got this energy working in my body. It's just flowing. I am a superhero. Tightening up my waistline, tightening up my inner thighs, energy flowing. So there you have it. The perfect plank, right? But my whole purpose of this video is to show you that there's always somewhere deeper to go. It's not just the pose holding it. It's what you're doing internally, mentally, how you're connecting to the movement. That's going to give you the results that you want, but it's also going to get you into this deeper place inside you where you're going to feel fantastic. So if you can sort of do all of your movement very deliberately, very intentionally like that, you're going to feel results quicker. You're going to get results quicker, and you're going to find that you don't need to spend as much time doing your exercises to get the results that you want. When you fully connect with what you're doing and you involve the mind with your body, you get the energy, sort of that deeper energy inside you working, those three aspects all together are what's going to give you sort of that whole body experience, the whole experience in general. So yes, this is just a plank. I know I got a little deep with it, but I want you to see where you can go with your physical movement. It can be so much more than just physical when you really connect with what you're doing. So I hope this video was helpful for you. I hope you connected with it in some way. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again next week. Take care.